Well, as I speak to you right now, this very moment, there's a protest going on in Katsina. People expressing their displeasure over the incessant killing in Katsina and then other states, most especially that of Katsina, that has become so rampant and continuously happening day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. You know, people are being killed and then maimed and the rest. But also, you need to commend the Nigerian police and or rather the armed forces or the security agencies together. Just yesterday also, there were arrests of over 100 of them, and then one of the key players have also been identified. Is even put on the wanted list, dead or alive, as I speak to you right now. So I think that is also a positive one. And then the Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masali said that he has failed his people, and I said to him, no, you did not fail, and you have adopted different strategies, different approach in order to coordinate and also see to secure your people. But then there are also people who are very willing and ready to assist in the best way possible. But reaching him is one of the challenges they are having. So I was advising that he shouldn't self-isolate himself in this very situation. He should be available and be willing and ready to take advice, and then possibly get those people that are willing to, if he open up, willing to accommodate. I think there are people that are also willing to come in to advise on how best to handle this very issue, despite the fact that the security agencies are also doing their best in ensuring that these people are being cordoned and possibly arrested, and then bringing the situation to calm. That is on the part of the governor, and then his statement that he has failed. And then, but then looking at the security apparatus and the call by the Northern Governors, by the Northern Elders Forum, as well as headed by Professor Anwar Abdullahi, and then the Arewa Consultative Forum, the Coalition of Northern Youth, the indigenous people of Katsina's call, and the Khan, Jamaatul Nasrul Islam, and various groups that are calling the president to take a proactive measure. In fact, the Katsina people themselves asked for state of emergency in Katsina, that it should be declared that the Katsina is no longer safe for people to live in. I see a reason why they are calling for that, and also to an extent I can agree with them that there is an emergency in security in Katsina and by extension the northern Nigeria. But then for those calling for, like the Coalition of Northern Youth are calling for the sacking of the service chiefs within 14 days. Otherwise, there's going to be a mass protest. Well, people are entitled to their opinion, and then depending on what you understand by security, and also the security apparatus, depending on what you understand by the structure itself, and the output, the input and the output, I think the president is in the best position. People might not believe the president. Yes, saying sympathetic or disagreeing with what is happening is not enough. I also agree with that statement that it is not enough to just say.
Just before you go ahead, let's also look at the content or part of that statement by the Arewa Elders Forum, which says recent escalation of attacks by bandits, rustlers, insurgents leave the only conclusion that the people of the north are now completely at the mercy of armed gangs who roam towns and villages at will, wreaking havoc. Do you share that view?
Well,
or is that a picture in the north?
I think it is not about sharing the view, but it is about well, they are trying to bring out what was seen in Katsina. You know, it was everywhere in the social media. The video was there running around on different social media platforms, from Twitter to the Instagram to WhatsApp to Facebook, you know, like that. You see the bandit moving in hundreds in motorcycle, carrying guns, different types of guns,
and yet are able to attack and disappear. And
they attack and disappear, and they don't move in tens or twenties. They move in 100, from 100 and 150. Even the one that one of those that were arrested, and when he was making confession, he mentioned like 3 or 4 camps, and each of the camps have like 150 bikes and bikemen that are moving. And don't forget, in most cases, these 150 bike and bikemen don't just move in most cases alone on their bikes. They are a 2-2 on a bike. So approximately you have like, if a trench is 150 and they have about 3 or 4 camps, and you have 2-2 per bike, that is about 300 people moving in a stretch at a time. And with the 3 different camps or 4 different camps, we are talking about between 1,000 to 1,200 bandits.
If that report or that is anything to go by, that will also raise questions like Nigerians are asking, what will be wrong? Is it that they are above being apprehended, or either someone is turning his face the other way, allowing such, because if such people move in that magnitude, attack, wreak havoc and disappear, nothing is done. It will be it will bring that question of either not knowing what to do or at all not doing anything.
Well, it is not that they are not, the security agencies or the state government or even the federal government is not doing anything. You remember that Aminu Bello Masari, the governor of Katsina State, when he first came in with this bandit issue, he went to the bush, went and negotiated, discussed with them, and then they agreed to drop their arms. And some of them submitted their arms, you know, and then within that period, the banditry within Katsina, Zamfara and Sokoto axis to an extent mellowed down. The same thing with the governor of Zamfara State. He did a similar thing, went to the bush, discussed with the bandit, and then asked them to come for a negotiation. They agreed, they came, they discussed, and then to an extent, within a particular period of time, that thing also seriously mellowed down within Katsina axis. Even in Kaduna, you find out the thing went down. But the most recent escalation of the movement of the bandit and the rate at which they are maiming and killing northerners or Nigerians it actually calls for question. And then if we said that the security agencies are not doing anything, that I would disagree with you, because I know what is happening, most especially with the armed forces. Don't forget the army are there, the air force are there, and then there are jet fighters. Not too long ago, a lot of deployments has been done, and then even barracks are being built in order to curtail this issue. But the reality is, like the spokesperson to the president, both the two of them said that there are some prominent people in Katsina that are assisting in aiding and abetting.
I was just coming to that reaction, the reactions and the counter by the presidency. First, reply to the Northern Elders forum that they are mere, a featherweight group without credible membership, general without troops. Then also issue of Katsina, the response allegation that some traditional leaders, rulers, are also involved and sponsoring. Such example, citing example with that of Zamfara State, where some traditional rulers have been not just dethroned for such issues. Looking at such response, following reactions by the Northern Elders Forum. Well,
first and foremost, I think it is unpleasant, the statement credited to Femi Adesina saying that the Northern Elders Forum is a general without troops. I think it is not about the general without troops that should be looked at, but the statement and the reason why the Northern Elders Forum are making the statement is what should be looked into. Yes, they are image makers of the president, so they need to do all the needful to make sure that they portray a very good image of the president, and then their responsibility is to make sure that he's not blemished or he's not dented by anything. Yes, do your job, but also look at the reality on ground. It is not about the Northern Elders Forum. Yes, it was a credible and a formidable forum before now. I am aware of it. I have had several meetings with Professor Ango Abdullahi, Joe Paul Onungo, Sanizang Wandaura, the late Masadin Kanu, Yusuf Meitamasule, and the likes of them. Before at the initial stage of the Northern Elders Forum thing. Yes, there is a little breakout and disagreement among the Northern Elders after the demise of Damasani, or even before the demise of Damasani, the Paul Onungos, and then the Ango Abdullahi, and then later Senator Waku and the rest of them. But that does not amount to seeing them or calling the Northern Elders Forum, a general without troops. I think to an extent he's speaking the voice or the minds of Northerners, because it affects security. So I think it is unpleasant. But like I said earlier, the Femi Adesina and Garba Shehu had the responsibility to make sure that the president is not dented by enemies and by anybody. So they are just doing their job. That is the way I see it. But then the president needed to take responsibility for action or inaction or whatever happens in the country, most especially in terms of security. And I can see that he's doing his best. Just yesterday, the Inspector General of Police went to brief the president.